That's right. Thank you, young lady. Well, the following segment is sponsored by Graves McLain. Hey, May is National Motorcycle Awareness Month, so it's a good time to take a look at some of the safety tips that can keep motorcyclists safe. Chad McLain at Graves McLain here with some interesting stats and helpful ideas also to prevent a crash. As always, sir, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming in. So you survived the rain, made it up the hill?
Just barely.
Man, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible. It really is.
You were talking about it's that time of year, despite the rain, that you see more and more guys and gals out on their hogs, getting out and enjoying the weather. This is a time, though, for both people who ride and those of us who are in vehicles to watch out for each other.
Right, well, there's more traffic. School's out.
Yeah.
People are getting around and about during the day as well. The prettier the weather, the nicer the weather, the more motorcycles you see. And I think about Midtown Tulsa. Of course, we see cases from all around, but Midtown Tulsa, the streets are so narrow, and there's a lot of things that we need to pay attention to remain safe.
Yeah, and you were showing me some stats a little bit earlier. I tell you what, if this doesn't make you pay attention to motorcycle safety, I don't know what would.
Yeah, I mean, nationally, there were over 5,000 people that lost their lives in 2016.
Wow.
That was an increase from 2015. And in Oklahoma only, there were almost 90 people that were killed in motorcycle accidents in 2016.
And you touched on this a little bit earlier. Here in Oklahoma, it's not a law that you have to wear a helmet.
That's correct.
But, you know, if you have an accident, and you don't think that way if you're going to be on a bike, you just think you're not going to. But what are some of the things that we can do to improve our safety without wearing the full helmet? Or do we need to wear a full helmet?
Well, yeah, even though it's not required, I mean, it's one of those things where it's never going to happen to me until it does.
Right.
And the thing about a helmet is that if you don't have a helmet and you're in a wreck on a motorcycle, there's not a whole lot protecting you from the hard asphalt.
Right.
So the likelihood of you sustaining a severe head injury if you're in an accident is almost a certainty.
Right.
It would be a rare occasion. So some of the things from a safety standpoint are wear a helmet with some type of face guard. There's clothing, obviously, leather clothing. The types of boots that are worn are important too, just to protect yourself, because more likely than not, you're going to be thrown, if you're in an accident, you're going to be thrown from the motorcycle, and there's going to be road rash involved unless you have the protective clothing on. Yeah,
I started to say, I've had a couple of friends that have been involved in that. It's been years and years later, and they still talk about that road rash.
Yeah,
and how
exactly right.
Now, also, something to be aware of is when you're on a motorcycle, you need to learn to drive defensively. Always look out and assume the car doesn't see you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Again, thinking about Midtown, the blind curves and the narrow streets, and people, I was just thinking about the way that Brookside has been built out, how the cars are parked right next to the street.
Yeah.
So there's not really a whole lot of room to see. So the more visible you can make yourself as a motorcyclist in all of those areas, the better chance you have. I was just talking to one of the guys in the green room before we came out here, and I've always wondered why motorcyclists, when you're at a stoplight, would rev their engine, and I always thought it was because, well, they want you to think it sounds cool. But actually, it's so you'll know where they are. That's a safety. It could be. Wow. Sometimes it's not, but it's a safety thing, so people in cars would recognize that there's a motorcycle near them. Never even occurred to me, but that's a great idea.
Last question, just very, very quickly. If I'm wearing a helmet, I tell you, or tell an insurance, do my insurance rates get lowered?
I don't believe it impacts them.
Okay, I was just curious.
That's a great question, but I don't think it impacts
Chad, as always, sir, appreciate you coming in, because you came in to talk about Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Graves McLain, 4137 South Harvard Avenue, 918-359-6600. You can go to gravesmclain.com and find out more about what Chad and company do. You can also find and like them on Facebook.